Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's new release Spotlight. This week we're looking at new books for kids and teens for the week of May 2nd, 2023. So what I do on the Spotlight each week, this is a feature of Mrs. Reader Pants, which is my blog. I have done this for many years, since 2016, where on Tuesdays I do an analysis of all the books coming out that week for kids and teens. So it includes picture books, middle grade books, and young adult books. And I take all the books that are being released and I pick my favorite 15 or so and do a little analysis of them. And this video, so that's on my blog, that's written. This video, though, is a spotlight of the spotlight where I take those 15 or so books and I pick my very, very favorites of those, because sometimes I have more to say than I put in my blog post on it. So this is the spotlight of the spotlight. So this week, young adult books definitely look the strongest. May is a really good month for new book releases. So while middle grade and picture books may not be as strong as YA this week, they're still very strong. So definitely want to have a look. The grade levels that I recommend for each book are, I didn't choose those. Those are ranges that are recommended by professional reviewers through Tidal Wave. So we're talking about like Kirkus, School Library Journal, Publishers Weekly, Book List, etc. So if one publisher recommends grades 3 through 7 and another publisher recommends grades 5 through 8, the range would be grades 3 through 8. So that's what I've got on here. And that's also what I recommend in the written spotlight on my blog. So you can see more books for this week. There's a lot more on my blog. I've got the link below in the description. And in that post, there's also a downloadable presentation, sort of like this, but it's not a video, where you can go in and edit, and you can like take out books or add books or whatever you want to do for that week. And you can scroll that on a screen in your library, and that's a free download. All the titles featured in this video and also in the written weekly new release spotlight did receive at least 2 positive professional reviews, and they're on Tidal Wave. So I know a lot of schools, that's a requirement for a book purchase, so you are covered there. So you don't have to worry about there being some random titles. I don't get paid for doing this. This is just a labor of love. It's something I've really enjoyed doing for several years, and I know it's very helpful. So welcome to the Spotlight. We're going to start with young adult titles. Okay, so we're going to start with Imogen, obviously. This is by the very amazing Becky Albertalli, who is the young adult author of books like Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda and What If It's Us? And there's one that I read recently, Yes, No, Maybe So. So she knows her way around a romance, YA rom-com type of novel, and that's what this one is. This is about a young lady who is, she starts off, she's heterosexual, and she goes to visit her friend at a college campus in over spring break, and she discovers that maybe she likes girls as well. So this got 3-starred professional reviews, and it is recommended for grades 9 through 12. The next one is Where You See Yourself. So this is a realistic fiction book by a debut author. And I love this one because it features a wheelchair-bound protagonist, so girl. And she is also wanting to go to college. She has her heart set on an art university in New York. But she finds out that the university is not very wheelchair compliant. And this is a lot of stuff about ADA compliance in here, and like fighting for, advocating for your own rights. She's experienced this already at high school, where her school is not, does not comply either with ADA rules. And so she's going to advocate for herself. This is set in Minneapolis, not New York. She's in Minneapolis for the duration of the book. And this is Kirkus and Publishers Weekly starred and recommended for grades 7 through 12. Our next YA is this is a YA giant, Angeline Boulley. She wrote The Firekeeper's Daughter. I'm going to be completely transparent here. I didn't love The Firekeeper's Daughter. It was okay. But for me, it wasn't a thriller like it was advertised. I felt like it was just mostly kind of boring and really long. So I'm going to start with that. But I'm doing this one because I am definitely a unicorn there. I think a lot of people really, really love The Firekeeper's Daughter. This is kind of a sequel, but it features different characters, although Donis is a character in this book. It's set 10 years after The Firekeeper's Daughter, and it's also set on Sugar Island in Michigan, which is an area between the US and Ontario, Canada. There's two twins in the story, and they were in The Firekeeper's Daughter, but they were little, and now they're 16. So Donis is their aunt. And this is Publishers Weekly starred and Kirkus starred, and for grades 9 through 12. Okay, next up we have Ander and Santi Were Here. This is a queer romance between Ander, who is non-binary, and Santi, who is gay. This is by the same author as 1500 Miles from the Sun, which just came out in 2021 and is set in San Antonio, Texas. This is a romance between these two. They work together in Ander's family restaurant, and the romance goes great. Like, they fall for each other quickly, but we have Santi is an undocumented immigrant, and that becomes a problem as the story goes on. So this is Booklist starred and recommended for grades 9 through 12. All right. This is one of my favorite ones this week. We have The Isles of the Gods. This is by one of my favorite YA authors, Amy Kaufman. She wrote some of my absolute favorite books. We have These Broken Stars in 2013, which has 2 sequels, Illumina in 2015, which also has sequels, and The Aurora Cycle in 2019, also with sequels. So huge YA author. This is also a high seas adventure with mythology and like magic. So it's got really everything. One of the things that I love about Amy Kaufman is that her books are always lots and lots of action and really awesome world building. So if you've got students who are kind of reluctant to read or need something with a lot going on, that's kind of me. I like a lot going on in my books too. That's why I love this author so much. So this is a great choice for them. This is Publishers Weekly starred and is recommended for grades 7 through 12. Okay, next up we have America Redux. This is a nonfiction book that is told in images with collages of maps and newspaper clippings and advertisements throughout history. I love this format. This is really unique. It's got 21 chapters, and each chapter focuses on a different issue in U.S. history. So, and a lot of it's like political issues and social issues. So we have things like immigration, the annexation of Hawaii. We have disability and HIV, and just the incorrect teaching of U.S. history in schools. So this sounds really interesting. And I looked online for any pre-released images that might have been released by the publisher, but I found nothing. So hopefully this will come quickly on my library hold that I put for Overdrive. I know it's coming soon at my public library. And so I put it on hold, and I hope to review it very soon and maybe share an image or two so you can kind of get an idea of what I mean by collages and maps and things like that. So looks really neat. This got 3 starred professional reviews and is recommended for grades 8 through adult. And next we're going to do our middle grade spotlight. So we have several this week. First off, Ellie Engel Saves the World, crossed out herself. So this is a magical realism and supernatural type of novel. This is about a young girl who leads kind of a quiet life, but there's an earthquake in her town, and she ends up getting powers after the earthquake. What happens is her pet fish dies, and when the fish dies, she's burying it and giving it like a eulogy, and she accidentally touches the fish and it comes back to life, and she discovers that she has the ability to bring things that have died back to life. Well, her power gets videoed at some point, and she ends up going viral, and paparazzi are camping out in her front yard. So her quiet life is definitely turned up on its ear in this story. This got 3-star reviews. It is by a very popular YA author, Leah Johnson, who wrote You Should See Me in a Crown, Rise to the Sun, and Cool Awkward Black. All 3 of those are YA, but they've all gotten great reviews and are all relatively recent. This one is her first middle grade novel, and it's rated for grades 3 through 8. Okay, next up we have The Firefly Summer. This is by another YA author, Morgan Matson, who is delving into the world of middle grade writing. Morgan Matson is major in YA world. She's written lots of books, including Since You've Been Gone, Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, The Unexpected Everything, lots of others, Save the Date. This is a realistic fiction book that reminds me a little of Celia Perez's book Tumble, which is a similar concept. So this is about a young lady named Rihanna, and she is normally just lives kind of a quiet life with her father and his new wife, her stepmother. And one summer, she gets an invitation to visit her grandmother. She does not know her grandparents. Her mother died years ago, and she doesn't know her father doesn't keep up with the grandparents. So she gets an invitation to come spend the summer at the grandparents' house in the Pocono Mountains. So she accepts that invitation. What she doesn't expect is when she gets there, there's this whole huge extended family, aunts and uncles and cousins. And so this is about what she does that summer and learning about her mother who had died and meeting her cousins and getting to know them. This is great for summer. There's a lot of summer activities in here, as you can see from the cover with the canoeing. This was Publishers Weekly and Kirkus starred and is recommended for grades 3 through 7. Okay, next up we have A Work in Progress by Jarrett Lerner. This is realistic fiction and a novel in verse, and it's got these, as you can see from the cover, these black and white, these black scribbly sketches that represent the boy in the story, represent his anxiety that he's carrying around with him. I've seen this in other books too, where they've used this sort of black scribble to represent anxiety and worry and stress. Protagonist here is an 11-year-old boy. This contains black and white sketches throughout, as well as the scribbly black stuff. And this is Publishers Weekly starred and grades 3 through 7. Super excited for this one. This is one of my favorite authors these days. This is by Rex Ogle, Four Eyes, and it is a graphic novel. It's actually a memoir of when Rex Ogle himself was in 6th grade. If you have read Free Lunch, or they're young adult, but if you've read Free Lunch, Punching Bag, and Abuela, Don't Forget Me, this is the same author. Those are Free Lunch starts out when he's in 6th grade. They're memoirs as well, but they're really better for young adult than for middle grade. But this one is for middle grades. It is, he's a 6th grader in this, and it's set in Texas. I'm really excited to read this because I loved the Free Lunch trilogy. It was super good, and I listened to the whole thing on audio. I definitely recommend the audio for that one. So I absolutely plan to read this one and review it. So this is recommended for grades 3 through 7. Okay, next up we have picture books, and lots of really good ones. I had a hard time deciding what picture books to add this week, so I have quite a few. We're going to start with The Book of Turtles. This is let me just start with, I love turtles. I used to have a turtle in my library, and I just think they're adorable, and they're fun. They're really fun to watch, and they're entertaining, and they have personality, and love turtles. So that helps right here. But this is an informational picture book. It is Kirkus and Booklist starred and recommended for grades K through 4. Cy Montgomery has won the Siebert Medal before, so which is for nonfiction picture books. So could happen again. Sometimes it does. But this looks really cute. I think it's 130 different species of turtles appear in this book. So pretty cool for that. Next up is Big. This was my best pick of the week on my blog, where I write up these the new release spotlight each week. So this is a picture book. This is by the author of Dream Big, Little One, and the illustrator of Sulway, which Sulway was kind of a big one in 2019, and Hair Love. It got 3-star reviews. This little girl here is just kind of chubby, overweight, and it starts out when she's a baby and they're telling her, oh, she's such a big girl, and big has a nice good connotation. She's such a big girl. But over the story, as she gains a little weight, big becomes a bad connotation, and it's something hurtful that's said to her many times. There's an incident that happens on a swing set in school, and the teacher tells her she's just too big for this swing. And each time, none of them are meant to be hurtful, but they are, and they dig deep. And so it's about this little girl finding kind of who she is within, and getting past these little digs at her weight. So this one looks really good. I could have identified this when I was a little kid, and I'm sure a lot of children could identify with this story. Next up, we have Becoming Charlie. This is a picture book by the author of Gaston and Grace for President, and Una Kelly DiPuccio. Quite a big author here. She's written a lot. I know when I was in China, she was on our Panda book list for where we did like Battle of the Books. So this is Kirkus starred and grades preschool through grade 2. This is about a little caterpillar here. He's a monarch caterpillar, and he is just not like the other caterpillars, and he's really not so interested in just changing and becoming a butterfly like all the other caterpillars. He just wants to be himself. So it looks really cute. And my last picture book is The Highline. This is actually based on a real park in New York. It's in New York City, actually, and it's by the author and illustrator of the book Building Zaha. This is great for STEM applications and for architecture. This is in like urban renewal. This is recommended for grades preschool through 5, and this is really, so the Highline, if you're not familiar, because I wasn't before I saw this book on the list, the Highline is an old train track that was above New York City that used to be used to deliver goods to factories. And eventually it just fell into disrepair. It wasn't used, and it was just kind of an eyesore. And so some architects got together and they made it into an elevated park, and it's a walkway. And what I would do if I were teaching this book is I would want to show pictures of the way it was initially and the way it looks now, like real photos. So I'm going to show you, I pulled these just from Wikipedia, but I'm sure there's a lot of better photos out there. But this first one here, the larger one, is what it looked like initially. You can see that it is quite an eyesore. It's not very pretty. And then the second one is while they were it had just started growing the grass and things. And then you can see the train tracks there. And then this is what it looks like today. So you can see it's grown more lush, and it's just a really good one for making something ugly into something beautiful using science and engineering and architecture. So I thought that was kind of cool. So if you're looking for more stuff, that is the end of this week's Spotlight. And I do the Spotlight every Tuesday. I've just started doing videos. This is only the second video I've done for the Spotlight. But I do have the written Spotlight that I've done since 2016 every Tuesday, and that is available on Mrs. Reader Pan's blog, which is linked below. If you do go to that link, there are more titles. I didn't do all of them. The video is sort of a spotlight of the Spotlight, but all the titles that I chose this week are on the Spotlight on my blog. Also there, you will find a downloadable presentation that includes all of the titles that I've spotlighted, not just these, that you can download and edit and add or change whatever you want to in it, and you can show it on a loop with your students in the library. It's a great way to find out like what students are interested in, what new books are coming out, and they will ask you to order them. So it's a good way to get some ideas for ordering. So the new release Spotlight is published every Tuesday. This week I'm a little later than usual because I had been sick over the weekend. I'm doing better now. So next week I will post a new one and a new video as well. So thank you so much for watching, and please go to Mrs. Reader Pants below and download that presentation. It's super, super helpful. See you later.